Falcon Winter Soldier episode recap and review. Today we're talking about episode 5, Truth. This was supposed to be a big episode. Of course, it's the penultimate episode to the season finale, and I don't think this episode disappointed. We got a pretty big cameo. We got some pretty big developments in regards to not just character development, but moving forward, some of the key stories that have been going on throughout the season. And guys, I just can't wait to get to talk about this one. Of course, Kendall and Shamari join me as always every week because there was a lot here.
Yeah, this was certainly an episode where you're talking about just like if you were talking about spoilers, like this is an episode that if you haven't seen it, you should watch it, experience it for yourself. But yeah, it was might have been one of the better episodes of the season, maybe even the best. Which is interesting because it wasn't super action packed, but Malcolm Spellman wasn't lying when he said this was going to be an episode that was packed with emotion. And that was he wasn't exaggerating on that front. And then we had excellent moments I thought from the entire cast. So yeah, I mean I'm excited to really dive into this one. A lot of interesting things.
And Sham, this episode really, started us off with, where we left, which was that really horrific scene with John Walker bludgeoning that guy with the shield. And the episode kicks off with a pretty massive showdown between John Walker and Sam and Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, it throws you right into it, which is pretty surprising. Or it was pretty surprising to me. So yeah, that was a shock to me before we even got the title.
Yeah, I love that. I love that it was like before the title screen even. It was almost like, to me, this was almost like an epilogue or prologue. An epilogue to like the last episode. To me, the episode really begins after the title screen. But this is almost like an epilogue to just what we saw at the end of the episode. And I think that's where we should really, kind of start this discussion with, you see John Walker. He's running away from the scene of the crime. He's found some warehouse in Latvia where he's trying to collect his thoughts, and clearly he's very messed up, not just from what he had just done, but also, of course, what he saw with Lamar being killed in action. And you see him kind of, you see them going through those memories with Lamar, especially with a lot of past statements from Lamar talking about how great a partner he is and how great he is in battle and how it's a pleasure working with him and how that really was affecting him, and clearly he was not in the right mindset. So, we knew this was coming because of what we saw in the kind of the midweek trailer we got. But, as soon as Bucky and Sam walk in there, that that there's no way that John's going to try to leave out there without that shield, and there's no way Bucky and Sam are leaving that shed without that shield. So something was going to have to give.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. And as we see at the end of the episode too, not to jump all the way to the epilogue, but this isn't the last fight we're going to get. And I'm glad to hear that too, because when the fight ended, I was like, all right, this can't be it. So we're gonna get more than this. So yeah, I think we're gonna get another showdown, potentially an even bigger showdown in the next episode. I'm sensing maybe a White Vision. Kind of another final battle, so to speak.
Just kind of, pigeonholing himself into the final battle. Same way White Vision did, just like, WandaVision, you thought it was going to be Agatha versus Wanda, and all of a sudden this White Vision thing comes in. Like, we think it was going to be Flash Max versus Falcon thing.
And we see, and I think that there's a very good chance, because I'm torn. I'm not 100% sure if we're going to see him in the fight, but why I lean to the fact that maybe we will is because, we will get more in this later episode, but we see, he tried to justify what happened during the council meeting. He tries to justify what happened. We're talking to Lamar Hoskins' family, explaining to them that, there's no way he would let the killer of his partner, go free, that he was definitely going to make sure that justice was served, which was just a flat out lie. So to me, knowing that he harbors those feelings of regret and guilt, that you would think that he's going to want to really truly avenge that death. He's saying he did, but he really didn't.
Writing.
So that receipt is due to me for Carly. Whether or not she'll be around for when he's ready to collect, I don't know, but that receipt is definitely due.
Yeah, I mean, and the way they've written this show, similar to WandaVision, in that the lines and the verbiage, are very specific, and the way they write the script, like when he's about to take the guy out, the flag smasher, he very explicitly says, "It wasn't me. I didn't do it," and he still takes the guy out. And then you see Walker just absolutely lost it because Falcon says, "Yo, or he says, you saw what that guy did." He's like, "It wasn't
and
him."
Boy,
so,
man,
so like,
go ahead.
And then he then still doubles down and goes and tells Lamar Hoskins' family that. So he's completely gone cuckoo for Coco.
And let's keep this a buck, guys. I mean, unfortunately, in our country, we hear these stories of soldiers and of police officers fabricating stories to justify abuse and justify brutality. That's like that's a story as old as American Pie. Like and now unfortunately, I guess fortunately with body cameras and cell phones, we're seeing some of these lies that that are being told by police departments and military officials being kind of being foreshawn and being revealed to be lies. So it was kind of crazy to me. I thought it was really good writing to see like John Walker go through, unfortunately, what we've seen other authority officers go through, which is, oh, you saw that. I had I had to shoot the guy. The guy had a gun, right? Even though the guy didn't have a gun. And here it was like, hey, you saw he killed the guy. I had to kill him. And it's like he didn't kill him. Unfortunately, we're the third party watching everything that happens, so we know what he's saying is nonsense. But I thought that was actually very real. Like that was a very, very real thing where we see these instances where authority figures aren't sometimes truthful when explaining why a use of force has been applied. And I thought that seeing John Walker literally go through those lies and those excuses to make up for his misaction, it kind of made me feel a little weird about Sam trying to kind of be like, oh man, it's a tough day, it's a tough job. We know it was in the heat of the battle. At first I was a little annoyed and I actually wasn't crazy about that dialogue, but then I took myself back and said, well, I think this is just Sam being him. Because remember, Sam obviously is trained in terms of dealing with military people and PTSD and dealing with anxiety, and he used that training and that counseling training that he has to talk to Carly.
To calm him down.
He used to talk to Carly just the other day. It was kind of a similar thing.
And Bucky later in the episode.
And he's done it with Bucky a bunch. So I kind of rounded, this is Sam playing that role. Obviously, he knows John is a lunatic. But in this purpose, to hope to maybe avoid what feels like an inevitable showdown, maybe I could talk him off the ledge. And as John says, it almost worked until he said, give me the shield. Because at the end of the day, Bucky and Sam at that point knew there was no more playing around. It was get the shield or else at this point, because John Walker had become a complete loose cannon.
So the two, I wouldn't say issues, but the two questions I kind of wonder, if they could have added to that aspect of this episode were, one, would we have liked to have seen a little bit of maybe media reaction or more reaction from the country? Torres kind of mentions it, international incident. We have the whole GRC Senate meeting kind of thing. But,
you see
that would have been one thing.
Yeah, you see him getting booed. You see him getting booed and jeered.
You see him getting booed coming out.
The car going into the Senate meeting.
I just feel like, I don't know, maybe just because of the times we're in, like when something like that happens, like it's all over the news, and that's all people are talking about. We really didn't get that kind of newsflash, Captain America, blah, 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 blah. And people going back and forth, politicians talking about it. That would have been interesting. But the other question is, how do we feel about John Walker? Like, do we feel like his, Anakin Skywalker, turned to the dark side? Did it make sense? Did it feel rushed? Did it feel, not rushed, but Do we feel like, oh, he's too evil for no reason? Did the serum mess with his head? Like, how do we feel about that?
Well, I mean, first for the media, I feel like it was handled pretty well. I feel like I think they used the time they had wisely. They showed enough to the point where we know, generally a lot of people aren't okay with Captain America killing, a foreign national,
Right.
Flag smasher, or not, just murdering him, when he's running away, fleeing,
Right.
so that's not something that people are okay with. But with regards to U.S. Agent or John Walker, I think they've done his turn perfectly. I really do. Because you see from the start, he's capable of this.
Right.
And I think that's very realistic.
Yeah.
You see
he was kind of off his rocker a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah. Not totally evil, which, they don't emphasize. He's not just some mustache twirling, really horrible evil person.
Right.
But he's got a lot of issues, right? He's got a lot of flaws, and he's got a lot of issues with authority.
And that
he's one of those personalities that, given things like super soldier serum or other forms of higher authority and higher power,
and
he's unhinged with it.
That's what Lamar mentioned to him when he talked about the serum makes
Lamar.
you more of what you are. That's what Dr. Eskin talked about in Captain America: First Avenger when he talked about, we telling Steve the spiel about good people turn good, bad people turn bad. Like,
there you go.
Walker was definitely, in that gray area, and he turned right, he turned left, or whatever. He turned bad when
and with the serum,
Lamar died.
With the serum, can't really be a gray area. That's why it's an issue with the Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're walking around with all this serum.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think they've done it masterfully. I think they've done a great job.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point, Kendall, with the media aspect. I think I agree with you. Or I don't know how you feel, but I think that it's a good point. I think that they probably could have done a little bit more, especially because they emphasized just how many cameras were on John as he was bludgeoning that dude. To maybe see that footage being played across CNN and Fox News and MSNBC and shout out to Spectrum News. That probably would have been pretty cool. I think that it's only a 10, 20-second scene. It doesn't have to be that long. But I think they probably could have used that. Maybe a missed opportunity. Not something that was, some terrible omission, but maybe a missed opportunity there. I think that they actually did something really great with John's turn in terms of one, as you point out, I mean, during that fight scene, of course you are in a fight scene, there's testosterone, but I mean, it's clear this guy is lost it. Like, Sam and Bucky are fighting, and they're not saying and yelling crazy things like "I am Captain America" as he grabs the shield and tries to, slice Sam in half. So clearly, there's three. He's talking to himself. Like, there's three guys in that room, and one of them is off his rocker, and it's not Sam and Bucky. So it's very clear. I think that they do something. I kind of like that. It's kind of left somewhat ambiguous as to this is obviously a turn for the worse in a way that maybe we haven't necessarily seen him be this bad. So it's okay. Is it the serum, or is it just him and him having this power, bringing out this this feeling that he has to kind of do whatever it takes to cling on to this power? Because on the one side, I've had considerations about, this was not the serum made by Dr. Eskin. This was made by some crackpot guy who the government found. So, I mean, who's to say this guy isn't making a serum that is giving people different side effects? Like, we know the Flag Smashers are certainly on one. And we know John Walker is on one. So, I mean, now even the Flag Smashers don't seem to be as crazy as John. But, it makes you think, okay, maybe there's something there. But I kind of like that. At the same time, you have the dialogue with Hoskins saying, hey, man, serum just makes you more of who you are. And Eskin, as you said, talking about in Captain America: First Avenger, good person becomes greater person, bad person becomes worse person when they take that serum. And you just kind of see it play out with Walker, who they lay the tea leaves that he has, this dark backstory. Like, yes, he's a decorated soldier, but again, unfortunately, when it comes to the U.S. military, what you have to do to be a decorated soldier sometimes not all that great in terms of the stuff you got to do. And he alludes to the fact that he doesn't feel like he's done a lot of great things in the military in regards to some things he was asked to do. And when he's sitting there talking to those senators, you see that come out. As the senator is giving out all of his, the new rules for John Walker. You can't, you're not an officer of the military anymore. You're dishonorably discharged. All those things. He's saying, "Hey, man, you made me. This is you. This is what you've created." So in some sense we also see that he feels like he holds a lot of responsibility, but he also puts it a lot on just the environment he's come up in. But I also just want to say real quickly, I guess, before we get to other stuff in this episode, I mean, I thought it was just a killer fight scene. It was just a really good, well choreographed, well done, very emotional fight scene. They hit all the right notes, and there is still part of me that just feels like, again, knowing the Bucky we saw in Winter Soldier and just feeling like, man, we're never going to get that killer. And maybe we won't. Maybe he's a new guy, Because I felt like that Winter Soldier would have took John Walker out in 3.5 seconds. And especially if he had help from Sam. He was having trouble with John Walker. I know he's a super soldier serum, but to me, that Bucky still would have ended John Walker very quickly. So that part of me is still a little disappointing, but nonetheless, I thought it was still a very emotional, well done fight scene all around.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to. I don't think he was trying to take him out.
Wasn't trying to murder.
That's true too. And when I say a killer, I don't necessarily mean kill John Walker. I just mean like the fighting ability to put him down when you need to put him down. And clearly, again, he was having trouble. John Walker's not a joke, but I mean, Dora Milaje were handling him.
Yeah,
Walker was before Serum, but still
was fighting no holds barred.
That's true.
Whereas Falcon and Bucky were kind of trying to neutralize him.
Yeah.
That may have played a part. But yeah, I mean, excellent action. I continue to be more and more impressed by what they've been able to do with Falcon, and some of the little things. Because Falcon's not an easy character to get action fight scenes.
He's not a super soldier.
He just has wings. He's Vulture, in theory. But they've done an excellent job of making those wings that he has they've made them, a real asset. And something that's not just a flying mechanism.
And I think that what made this fight scene, the choreography, great too, was you have Falcon fighting against, and with two ground-bound people. Like, a lot of the Falcon fight scenes, he's in the sky, he's nowhere near regular folk. He's just flying around planes and stuff, doing his own thing. I mean, that scene was really killer because there it's close, it's kind of close contact, close quarter fighting. And they're doing these stunts, and part CGI, part obviously wire work. He's flying around fighting these guys. Like that was not an easy thing. And I don't know if we've seen a lot of fight scenes from Falcon like that. I don't know if we've ever seen a fight scene from Falcon like that. Not with the wings, So I thought that was also something important to point out. Again, just a killer way to open the show. I do feel like this is a good time to mention, as John Walker is dishonorably discharged, and I will say. As much as what happened to John obviously sucks, and we heard the whole time he's spouting all of his privilege about how this can't be done to him, this is an outrage. It is funny that despite what was handed down to him in regards to kind of like a punishment and a removal, he still doesn't get it nearly as bad as Isaiah Bradley got it for doing great work, as we see later in the episode, as Sam got it when he was helping Steve during Civil War and the years he spent as a fugitive of the government, and as we know, Sharon Carter, who we'll talk about at some point as well. So I thought that was also something important to take note of, that this white man who they put into this position, he did not get the same kind of arrest and we'll lock you up kind of deal the way, or never come to the country again, or we'll lock you up. None of that happened to him. He's allowed to, leave the military, live his life. He's disgraced, but it's still not anything close to what the other people have had who are not other white men. I think that's important to note. But as he's sitting there kind of thinking about how it all went wrong, he's approached by the mystery cameo that we've been hearing about for weeks. You hear the boots walk up. It's a female. The camera pans. First of all, just a great way to introduce a new cameo. I'm like, wow. You see those boots, this is the moment. You don't know what's going to happen after, but there was no doubt, to me at least, that this was the moment we were going to find out who this cameo was. The camera pans up, and you see it's Julie Louis-Dreyfus herself, and she introduces herself as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, and that of course is in the comic books Agent 14 / Madam Hydra. So you want to talk about to me what was a mind-blowing cameo? One, to get a superstar actress from Hollywood, and second, to put her in a role like Madam Hydra, someone we have not seen in the MCU. Sorry, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. I know Ada was Madam Hydra in a framework. I'm not going to say that counts. This is a real Madam Hydra we have here. Or at least a character that becomes Madam Hydra. We don't know where she stands right now, but she kind of lays down the law basically saying, hey, like, these folks, they don't appreciate what you've done. They don't appreciate your abilities, but I do. And make sure next time, I'll give you a call and you pick up the phone and we'll work something out. Here's my card. The card's blank. But what a scene. I mean, just what did you guys think? We've been talking about who this could possibly be for weeks. None of us had Val de Fontaine on our card. What did you guys think when you saw the reveal?
Well, I know our mom was very excited because she's a big fan.
Oh yeah, I was excited too.
her reaction was, "Oh, hey!" But yeah, no, I mean it was cool. I feel like, so first of all, it's interesting because they've said now in the aftermath that she was actually supposed to debut in Black Widow. So when you think about that, I feel like it would have been, I think the scene would have been even better had we had already seen Black Widow. Because it does feel like they're introducing her in this as if you were supposed to have known who she is, or like you're supposed to have like recognized her on some level, like as a character. And so that part of it was a little awkward. But again, if she was supposed to be in Black Widow and now they've thrown that off, it's like, all right. Now I get why I've done that way, but for what we got, it was excellent. I thought it worked. In terms of what role she's gonna play, I know a lot of people jump to the Hydra conclusion. I'm not sure if they're gonna go down the Hydra well again. I mean, maybe that's just my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of.
Hydra fatigue.
Yeah, fatigue. My Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fatigue. It's a little overkill at this point to get another Hydra villain. Like, well, we're still out there. Like, I mean, really? It's like the fifth iteration. So I'm wondering, you mentioned how we got a version of Madam Hydra, Viper, with Ada, Ophelia in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm wondering. Some people wonder if she's a power broker. I don't think she's a power broker. I feel like it has nothing to do with magic.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think this is different. I think this is something completely also being path. I'm wondering, I mean, is this connected to the Serpent Society at all? If that's something that we haven't gotten in the MCU yet. That would not be, I mean, you could connect them to Hydra on some level, but like, that's not Hydra. That would be something that I've thought of, that I would think about. And obviously you think about what we mentioned, I believe, last week, or it might have been on our show, I don't remember, the Dark Avengers. That's what I'm wondering if that's what she's trying to put together, and that she's the mastermind behind this. So I'm intrigued by what this mission and how she knows all of this. She knew he was a super soldier. She knew he didn't have the shield. Like, how did she know any of this?
Mm-hmm. That was curious. I don't know how she knew any of that stuff, because, I mean, unless you had a drone keeping the footage of what's going on. How do you know any of that?
Yeah. So it seems like I think you guys liked the reveal probably more than I did. So I think I agree. I think the way they revealed it was very much, it seemed like you were supposed to know who this was.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know who this is.
Right.
And, I mean, it's definitely just an introduction. And I think just for the hype that was built up to the moment. And,
you can't let that.
To me, it didn't live up to that at all.
You don't think Madam Hydra, Julia Louis-Dreyfus playing Madam Hydra potentially that does not build up to the hype? That does for me.
I mean, that scene didn't live up to hype. I mean, and I have to see what she does in the role. and that's no disrespect to the actor. I mean, to me, maybe I haven't watched enough Veep, right? I mean, maybe I got to catch up on my Veep.
What Seinfeld?
Or Seinfeld. Maybe I haven't watched enough Seinfeld, right? But I mean, and look, I'm sure all the fans are gonna, yell at me, screaming at me. But it is what it is, right? I have to see what she does in the role before I start, But it's exciting. I mean, it's an exciting proposition. But I have to see more. Yeah. To me, that didn't make this episode. I needed more than that to make the episode. But it was a nice moment. It was definitely really creepy that she knew everything that she knew.
Yeah.
And I am definitely interested to see what she is going to do in the future. I definitely believe that they plan to introduce her in something else.
Yeah.
Because it 100% seemed like this was supposed to be something where everyone knew what was going on.
Yeah, you know what this is connecting to. We had no idea what that's connecting to at all.
We had no idea at all.
I feel like that's part of the reason why they revealed the Black Widow thing. Because, why would you have done that? Why would you even say that? Unless you wanted to, drill in people's minds that, oh, no, this isn't a one-off. This isn't, super random, thing. This is, this was supposed to make sense.
It seemed like it was supposed to be almost like the Nick Fury scenes and post credits with Nick Fury showing up to Iron Man.
And phase one. And think about it. If that scene or something like that happened in Black Widow, I don't know who's going to be with it. It could be with Taskmaster. It could be with Natasha. It could be with Yelena. Something like that happens with one of those characters. It makes more sense in that movie because that's what Marvel does. You introduce some post-credit scene with some character that we've never seen before that's going to take us into stuff into the future. But with this, it was a little bit more episode 5. We're getting a character that we've never seen before. It was a little more confusing. But
I'll
didn't release it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean, I'll disagree with you guys. I mean, I know Kendall was saying, he felt like it was obvious that this was someone that you should have known. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, again, the way they shot it, the way the person comes up, and then to me, the actress is so well known. To me, it's a big deal to me. To me, I see this and I see it's JLD, and I'm like, okay, this is a huge deal. Who is she playing? And then she introduces herself and her name, and then you realize, oh my god, that's Madam Hydra. Potentially, we'll see if that's who she becomes, but potentially that's who she has become in the comics. That again, to me, that's a huge deal. That to me, it was not to me super confusing. It was, it would be different if she never really introduced herself, or she said, "Oh, I'm Val," and that was it. She didn't say her full name. That to me, this was pretty clear. Now we don't know what agency she's working for, or what her ties are to all of this, and maybe that's something that will be more clear in Black Widow. But I kind of prefer this. I kind of like that. We know what this character is about, but we don't know what they're doing with her in the MCU. We know if she wants anything to do with John Walker when everybody else wants him to go to hell. We know that this is not. It can't be the most up and up thing she's trying to do.
When she walked in,
I thought that it was. I thought that the cameo worked great, even as a first appearance to me.
When she walked in, and you see who it is, I thought she was going to say, "I'm Lucia von Bardes from Latveria," and I was going to be all snap. Mm-hmm. We starting the Doctor Doom thing, but
nah,
there's
no way.
Oh, this.
I mean, I think another part of it is probably I'm not the biggest Madam Hydra person, which I don't know if Madam Hydra has a fan base. They'll probably yell at me too. Right. But I have to see what she does.
Right.
To me, and I like what they did in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. personally, I have to see it was what the character did that made, and how it was acted, and what impact they had in that role that made me like the character. So I have to see what she does first.
Right.
Maybe she does a lot in Black Widow. I don't know. Maybe she has a minor role. I'm not sure. But I got to see what she does. To me, for this character, who to me isn't a mainstay, I'm sure there are a lot of people she is, but I got to see what she does.
I'm still not 100% convinced that this is going to be a Hydra deal.
I agree with that. I think that's
she didn't end off by saying Hydra. She was a version of Madam Hydra in the comics, but is this going to be like, again, is she independent in this? Like she's just doing her own thing?
Well, I mean, she started as a shield. She was a shield agent. She was very. She's very connected to Shield, so there's a very good chance that this is something connected to Nick Fury, and maybe she was at one point a Shield agent. Now she's doing something different. I mean, I like your idea of this maybe being the beginning of a Dark Avengers. Like, I think that's something that's certainly possible, or a Thunderbolts. Like that's also something that's possible as well. Like all those things are on the table, And the good thing about Valentina is that you can do almost anything. Because she's been Madam Hydra, she's been a Shield agent, she's worked with Hammer, it doesn't you could do anything. And again, to me that adds intrigue to the cameo because she doesn't tell you much about what she's planning, but the possibilities are almost endless, and that makes me excited.
And it's funny because the Ophelia Madam Hydra that is also like Madam Viper, they already used in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes. So I feel like that's probably the one that Feige would have preferred to have been able to use, but it's probably damn Jed Whedon and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now I got to use but they still were able to dig down the well and found another version of that character that may fit. And then again, you may have a character that is not A-list, but then you bring in an actress that is to make it pop, So that's the Marvel strategy, tried and true.
Shout out to Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I'm excited to see where this goes, and now I really do want to see Black Widow because I'm curious if there's going to be way more revealed in that appearance when she does appear in that movie. So that's going to be exciting. I do want to move to one of the other big moments of the episode, which was Sam's second meeting with Isaiah Bradley in Baltimore. So after Torres tells him basically government's taking over this thing, the whole thing's a mess. Captain America killing somebody's all over the news. So what's wrong with your wings? He's like, don't even worry about it. It's for all intents and purposes, we kind of learned very immediately that any deal with the Flag Smashers and Sam's involvement is over. We're not gonna see them fighting or doing anything in this episode. It's very clear. So this was gonna be a lot of the character building for him that I think was gonna be needed for whatever is gonna happen in the season finale. And one of the big steps was him talking to Isaiah Bradley and getting to know exactly what happened to him. And speaking of some of the things that the creators have talked about or the showrunners have talked about. Prior to this episode, they said that, this will be a very emotional episode. I'm pretty sure the Isaiah Bradley conversation is supposed to be kind of the tearjerker conversation. I will say this, maybe I hate to say this, maybe I'm desensitized, but I just feel like, unfortunately, the plight of Black Americans in this country, nothing surprises me. So it was sad, but I don't think it was the most devastating thing I've ever seen. Again, I say that all unfortunately. It's not that it wasn't written well or wasn't emotional. It's just that's our history. That's just how it is. But what I will say is that the scene was acted extremely well. I really liked some of the nuance of them explaining how, or Isaiah himself explaining what happened, how he went to break out his fellow compadres, so to speak, in the military who were in the POW camps, and that the U.S. military was considering just blowing up the camps so that nobody would know that these people that they've been experimenting on were prisoners of war during, I guess that this was during the Korean War, and he went out and broke them out himself. It's really crazy considering, and of course for doing that he was locked up in prison for 30 years, experimented on, didn't get to see his wife. They told his wife he was dead. I mean, it was all just terrible stuff. But what's crazy is that Isaiah saved his fellow military members' lives going against orders, and he was jailed for 30 years and experimented on continuously. Steve Rogers, breaks orders to break out his friends and his military brothers and sisters, or maybe brothers at this point. I don't know if there were that many women besides Peggy, during the World War II, and he's a hero. He's celebrated. He comes back with all of them, the whole squad, and I forgot who plays the major military guy, but he kind of like has to be like, all right, you did it. Like, well, yeah, no, it wasn't Dum Dugan. I forgot who the actor is that plays the.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, yeah. Kind of has to say, oh man, wow, okay, I see you, So, and Tommy Lee Jones was giving him a hard time the whole movie. So again, you're just kind of showing. Sometimes I like that. I like that. Sometimes there are these obvious, contradictions that aren't necessarily just spoken about. Like it would have been like the fact that Sam didn't say, "Oh, I remember Steve did that and he was a hero." Like the fact that he didn't say that, but like us following the movies and following everything, and us.
He may not have known about that story.
Yeah, he might not know. But I'm just saying, like it's like even if Isaiah would have said it, Isaiah would have said 10 years earlier, Steve did it and he was a hero. Like that would have been kind of weak. Like I kind of like that he just said those words. He might not even know about all that, but us knowing the history of everything, and Isaiah says, my history is erased. Us knowing the history that's been provided to us, which is all Captain America is the great good guy, and thinking like, wow, Cap did something almost identical, and he was a hero. In fact, he got more work in the field and more work on the front lines because of what he did, going against orders. And Isaiah did it, and he was jailed for 30 years. It's sad, but it shows again, the unfortunate, racial struggles this country it was going through and continues to go through. And I thought Isaiah's, it wasn't just like the way he talks about racism and just like its effect and why there can't be a black Captain America. I really like that he speaks about it in like a lot of times he speaks about it in a present manner. He doesn't say there's no way America would ever let black man be Captain America. There's no other way America will let somebody be Captain America.
Yeah.
Like he talks about all the issues the country has as if it's in the present tense, even though some of the examples he provides is stuff that happened to him when he was a younger man. And a lot of that's because he's seen what the country has gone through over these years, and he sees a lot of the same old. It was a great scene. It was a perfect 10 out of 10 to me in regards to just like everything they needed to accomplish.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I think this scene to me was a 10 out of 10 as well. It was a very emotional, impactful, well acted scene. Very sad. Kendall. I was watching it with Kendall. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
It was, and look, I'm not gonna go too deep into stuff right now, but look, what he was saying, with how he was treated, how do you blame him?
Can't blame him, man,
for feeling that way, right? He's just being very honest. He's being very blunt, very honest. Based on his experience, he said no self-respecting black man would want to be Captain America.
Yeah, man, he was really
that was a chilling line.
That was a killing line.
Yeah,
that was a killing line. Never thought I would see that in a Disney property.
It's so interesting that they made the decision, the showrunners, producers, Feige, whoever, like they made the decision to not make Isaiah Bradley any version of Captain America. Like he's just a super soldier. He's a soldier, a super soldier. He did a lot of the Captain America things, as DJ pointed out, but he never took the mantle, never had the shield, never had that honor. I thought that was just an interesting decision, considering that obviously it's not the comics, but it seems very intentional why they did that. I thought that was also a very good scene. I won't go 10 out of 10 because I feel like the only thing that was missing, and I think it continues to miss, is, and this is like, it's like semantics, is not like the end of the world, but I still would have loved to have seen a flashback. You could have started the episode with a flashback and then went and had him tell the story. We could have had you could have done the Magneto X-Men thing of like, you started the series with that flashback, not referenced it or not known what that was about. And then until he tells the story, like this, I still, when you watch Watchmen and you get the episode 6 backstory of Will Reeves, and then that just, to me, I would have loved to have gotten that. And we still may, not in this series, but like, maybe, there's rumors about a Wolverine series. Maybe Wolverine was one of the people, and then you see Isaiah Bradley. Like, there's still ways in which they can introduce him if they go back in time, but, that's the one aspect. Like we mentioned before, maybe in a Young Avengers property, if Eli Bradley is telling the story, they can show flashbacks. But feels a little bit of a missed opportunity now. But all the things you guys hit on, I'm in agreement with.
And now I feel like Sam has to be Captain America now. He has to. Once he said that line, I verbally said it. I said it. Once he said it, I was like, now he has to be Captain America. There's no way he is not going to be Captain America. When he said that, I was like, he is Captain America. He's a new Cap. I'm just waiting for it to happen. I'm waiting for him to suit up next episode.
Yeah, are we like 100% that suit that he's got from the Wakandans is going to be a Black Panther? No, not a Black Panther.
I'm 100%.
That would be we talk about a swerve there.
Yeah, talk about a costume.
Like you never would have seen who the new Black Panther is going to be. I did not see this coming.
That's going to be red, white, and blue Captain America. Falcon costume.
100%. I can't say 100%. I can't say 100%.
60%?
Do you think it's likely?
Yes.
I think it's likely. Well, is it red, white, and blue? I don't know.
Right.
I think it's likely that it's a version of the cap suit, possibly with some kind of wing variant, because they know he's a Falcon.
Right.
So I don't know.
Could they have had that made for him? Could Bucky have had that made for him and Steve and Bucky when they decided to give him the shield? And they,
absolutely.
I don't know.
I mean, well, we see when I don't think so, only because when when Bucky apprehends Zemo in Sokovia, again, like that, he found Zemo at the memorial of the Sokovian in Sokovia after the whole situation in dealing with Ultron. After he gives him away to Io, he says, by the way, I think I need one more favor. I don't think it would have been something that, hey, remember that suit I actually made months ago? All right, I need you to now bring it back here.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
feel like that was him saying, I need you to do this, and it
make it a red, white, and blue.
I think he told him he's gonna be Captain America. Like he understands now. He didn't understand before, but he understands now what needs to be done. I'll give it to him when he's ready.
Right.
I don't know. I feel, and here's the thing. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like I don't know how I feel about Bucky knowing that Sam would be ready to be Captain America when he opens that briefcase. I feel like Sam, because I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of the timeline, but to me, it's before he goes to Louisiana. So I guess it's around it's around the time he goes and talks to Isaiah Bradley. So he doesn't know what Isaiah has told him. So he doesn't, to me, if anything, that conversation with Isaiah would make me think that there's no way in hell Sam's going to be Captain America after hearing this conversation. So,
right.
I thought it was weird that Bucky thinks just because we beat the hell out of John Walker, now he knows that when I see him, you're Captain America now. That was, kind of a leap that I didn't think made total sense. I'm going with it. It's a great show. I'm having fun. But, if there was one that kind of raised my eyebrow,
it could have been just the leap of that, John Walker, there is no Captain America right now. So...
Well, I'm not as worried about, only because they took the shield. Right. I don't care what the hell John Walker put himself in. You don't got the shield, You're not Captain America,
So Bucky might be saying to himself, John Walker, you might be US agent, you might be whatever, he might be behind bars, but he's not Captain America. Now, now we have the shield, now it's time to make
that, and I think that's what he's thinking. I think if you ask the crew, I think that's what they would tell you. I just feel like Sam has been so reluctant to be Captain America, and if anything, what he just saw from John Walker, Bucky didn't know the conversation I was Isaiah Bradley, but then the conversation with Isaiah Bradley, you would think that there's no way in hell he would think that I got to be Captain America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think he would think that I got to keep this shield away from everybody. This is just not a good thing for anybody involved.
Am I the only one that this is a super minor nitpick? I've been nitpicking a lot, but this is a super minor nitpick. But am I the only one that was I know Shamari knows because I reacted when they said that. But when the Dora Milaje were yeah, we're taking him to the raft. Am I the only one that was oh, so he can get out again? I don't know. That was my reaction. I thought he was going to Wakanda. I thought
he was going to Wakanda too. I thought at this point,
we're grabbing him and we're taking him out of you guys' hands. You guys are out again or something.
Yeah, no, I definitely did
That was like straight from a comic book or straight from a like.
Well,
a
look,
cartoon.
to me, okay, so it's like wrestling. I got thinking kayfabe. I mean, I think within kayfabe, like the Wrath is supposed to be like unbreakable. Now, obviously, we know Sam got out after Steve broke him out, but I think in kayfabe, that's the worst prison you can go to. So, okay, I'll play along. We know there are breakouts at the Wrath. It feels like every week in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, so take that for what it is. But yeah, I thought to me once Zemo was out free. At this point, I thought the Wakandans would think, all right, it's fair game. We gave him to you before, and now you let him out. So now he's getting Wakandan justice. And whatever we decide is whatever we decide. The fact that they say we're going to put him in an American jail,
them saying we're taking him to the Wrath, like that was basically Marvel saying Zemo will return.
Like, I mean, look, they probably don't have they won't be able to have the title card to say that, so they wanted to find a way. So that was their way to be like, oh, he's going to the Wrath. You'll definitely see Baron Zemo again. You told me he was gonna be under the jail in Wakanda. I'd be like, I don't know, you might not see him again.
Yeah. I mean, the Wrath, we know we're gonna see him again.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if they send him to Wakanda, having him just escape Wakanda, it would raise a lot of questions.
You're right. That's a super for their purposes. Like it's way easier to write him as a part of the Thunderbolts or something from the Wrath than it is from
Wakanda is a whole country, full of like vibranium trained
super
soldiers,
guarded, highly guarded.
So I don't know if
I get the feeling that if you get locked in Wakanda, you ain't never seen the light of day.
Yeah,
your days are done.
Another will return moment is when. Torres is like, don't you want these wings? And Falcon's like, keep them. I'm like, all right, Joaquin Torres will return.
Yeah, Kendall is like, new Falcon.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100% right.
I don't think we'll get it in this. I don't think we'll get it in the series. We could in the finale, but I think he's going to be in the Young Avengers. I know some people argue he's kind of old. But I mean, we're talking about stature. Cassie Lang. I mean, I don't know. Avengers. How old is Cassie Lang? She's like 20 something.
Torres, I guess, doesn't have to be that old.
Right, he looks like he could be no older than 19.
I mean, there are a lot of young guys that serve in the Marines and other various roles in the military and various roles. So,
Yeah,
I think that may be perfect.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, I don't know about Young Avengers, but like I think it's possible. I do have concerns about his age, but I do agree that that's 100%. Even if he's not gonna have those exact wings, like that's them telling you, this homeboy's gonna be Falcon. Like this is us. Beginning that.
And he's had a very subtle role, but I think this kid Danny Ramirez has done a good job.
Oh, I think he's been great.
I think he's done a very good job.
Yeah, he's been great. He's just a charisma that you can tell, super. Like he's got like the sidekick kind of boy wonder kind of like thing going with him and Falcon. So I think that like if they do end up doing Captain America Falcon stories, he would be a perfect guy to continue on.
Yeah, I think that was I think that ended up being big time casting because I agree. I think that he's done a great.
Yeah, he's done a very good job.
I think he's done a great job, and if he's gonna end up being Falcon in the future, sign me up. I think he could definitely do that role. Real quickly, as we kind of wrap up the rest of the loose threads here. So is Sharon definitely the power broker?
The power broker. So
because we saw her, she's calling Batrick. Batrick's yelling at her in French. And he's like, what the F in French, I guess. And he's like, yo, homie, chill. Like, you lucky you're still not in an Algerian prison. So, okay, Sharon's breaking terrorists out of prison. That's not good.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yo, I'll pay you double for this next job. And then Batrick shows up. Giving the people, I guess weapons and flashbangs, I guess all things needed to stop this vote that's happening with the GRC to move around a bunch of refugees. And I did think that it was good to have that scene of the senator who was all high and mighty when it came to putting the hammer down on John Walker, also being like, oh, we can move these refugees whatever the hell we want. And it's like, oh yeah, forgot he's still a government senator, useless jerk.
Shamari was banging the drum last week. I agreed with Shamari, but he was right in the sense that it seems like Carly Morgenthau has a whole a bunch of sleeper cells out there. I thought that scene was a little over the top.
Yeah, kind of thought it was kind of cartoony.
Yeah, I thought it was all these people in New York, in Manhattan, are just all zombie.
And the thing was, and I'll be honest, it wasn't I mean, they got like the most eclectic group of people.
Right? That looked like
it looked like they just went to Bryant Park and said whoever was there, yo, you are gonna be in the scene. Just between the woman who's the person who's taking their lunch break, from a Midtown building to the hot dog guy, like anybody who was there, y'all gonna be in the scene. Like,
you got all Flag Smashers.
Yeah, like I mean, I would think a Flag Smasher is gonna be a younger looking person. I don't know. I'm seeing middle-aged women. I'm seeing middle-aged men.
If they were at like a skate park or something, like you think a little more like a more edgy kind of area, I could see that being all right. Yeah, you might run into a lot of Flag Smashers here, people that are with the movement. But just in the middle, I mean, look, I get they're trying to push that this is like a really big movement.
Yeah.
But like these people that are Flag Smashers to the point where like she does the signal and they're all like, oh my god, like bugging out.
They're ready to pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, ready to square up. Like that was a little much. And I also, a little bit of a minor thing, and I'll get two minor things on some of the shooting. That clearly wasn't New York City. Like the green screen that they use for the skyline, I'm like, what park is this? Like I was trying to figure it out because I knew it was supposed to be New York. I just had that feeling, the lighting and everything, you could kind of tell, but something was off. And the wide shot came, and I'm like, that skyline is not a real skyline, obviously. So that was a little weird. I don't know. It's by the Chrysler Building. I don't know what that. I would assume they were trying to go for a Bryant Park feel, but I don't know what park that is. As someone who's a New Yorker. Second thing, I also thought that the workout montage scene with with Sam, which was needed.
Oh, I loved
it. Okay, some of those stunts though, it was very clearly not Homeboy.
Yeah, I wasn't even looking.
It was like
I knew it wasn't. I'm like, there's no way Anthony Mackie doing all these flips and stuff. But I was like, I'm gonna let it.
The one where he does the one where he does the backflip. I mean, you see the dude's face. It's just some guy. The guy is clean shaved. I'm like, that ain't Anthony Mackie. Come on.
Yo, there is something. I don't know. I think Marvel had posted something. Like, or it might not have been Marvel. It might have been like someone else, like one of these trades. But they posted like a picture of like, 2 years ago, like, or 5 years ago, whatever. Captain America: Winter Soldier came out. It was a picture of Winter Soldier. I'm like, that guy clearly isn't Sebastian Stan. Like, it's a guy wearing a mask. So why would you use that picture of a guy that's clearly not Sebastian Stan? So yeah, I mean that stuff, it happens. Yeah. But I love the theme song. Like,
that was cool. Yeah.
I love how like when you have these shows where they have the themes be like the end credits, and then like they did it with WandaVision as well, where then there's a scene where they actually use it in the show. It hits way more than like if you're watching a movie and like a song that's a part of the score. It might be the character's theme. Like, I don't know what Doctor Strange's theme. I probably should,
right? But
I don't really know because it was a one-off movie. Like you gotta really dig to find it. Mm-hmm. I know now what Wanda's theme is. I know what Falcon's theme is because it's the post-credits.
Yeah, and so when you see him doing that training, I know what this is.
Yeah. He's leveling up.
Yeah, totally cool. It just him with that shield and him doing some of this stuff. I'm like, man, this is clearly not Anthony Mackie. This guy is way taller. Like some of the things were just like really obvious to me. So that was one minor thing I felt like I had to note. I did another really quick thing I love. I really did love the conversation between Bucky and Sam. And when I mean that, Sam actually giving Bucky some stuff about what he's going through in regards to making the amends for people and giving Bucky the conversation that I think he needed to hear. And I'm sure his therapist is probably giving them that same talk. But sometimes hearing it from your friend or someone you highly respect, who isn't just someone who's paid to tell you how to fix your life, is exactly what you need. I thought that was just a really great scene. It really brought them together. I thought finally, as like these guys are more than just, as they said, more just co-workers as they were.
And also the therapist, she might not have told him some of the same stuff because what Sam was telling him to do was not like something that you probably should do in terms of like, I don't know if the therapist is telling him you got to confront the people, that you hurt in the past. Like that would have been like, she probably told him stay away from all of those people, like whatever. Right. But like, that's what he needs, and Sam knows that. But like, again, you can't like technically encourage that from an official standpoint.
And Sam knew, like he knew this is what he was doing, but he was not going about it the right way. His intentions weren't right, and he wasn't going about it the right way. So it was useless. So maybe, the therapist, and to be fair, I think the therapist did actually tell him to go through these steps because he had to read, when he talks to people, he tells them the words he has to say or whatever. But to me, I think, obviously she didn't want him hacking cars and stuff because, he's not supposed to hurt people, things like that. And we see that he does that. But nonetheless, like this was Sam saying, okay, if this is what you're doing, you're going about the wrong way because your intentions are wrong. It's about making yourself.
Do we think he's going to?
You're supposed to be making these other people feel good.
Confront the old man that he was with in the first episode.
Yeah, when he says that, when what's name says, I know there's at least one person that you can do, and he said there's 12. He's like, we'll start.
That's
with
gonna
one.
be sad. That's gonna be. It might not be Isaiah Bradley sad, but it's gonna be close.
That might be more sad than Isaiah Bradley.
It might be, man.
Like only because we, and to Kendall's credit, even though I don't know if I felt like I needed that flashback scene of Isaiah Bradley. I mean, we saw Bucky kill Homeboy.
Right, we saw the scene, and it was
it adds that, and we've seen Bucky's pain for 2 movies and now it's 5 episodes of television. So there's a lot more. I mean, Isaiah Bradley's someone we've just been introduced to. So maybe a controversial statement for some people, but I'm telling you that might be a really tough scene to watch when that happens because it will happen.
Two little Easter eggs that I did like was one. I love how Sam's nephew, he called him Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
In the show. Obviously, about him being Captain America.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, to me, that's funny. But then also, when Bucky is talking to Sam's sister, and she says her name's Sarah, like, he has that smile on her face. Or he had that smile on his face. And, Falcon's thinking that it's a flirtatious thing, but my interpretation was that Bucky was thinking about the fact that Steve's mom's name was Sarah.
Yeah.
And so he's like, chuckling by that, Because again, if your best friend, who he talks about, thinks about all the time, that's one of the things that he's probably thinking about. So
yeah, that's a great point. And that's such like I don't know if it's a famous line, but to me, it's a famous line from.
Yeah, it's very, very, very.
It's
something they put in the Marvel Legends package.
I mean, it's just because it sets up the obvious, the killer line from, Sam, where he's like, all this.
Just like that, we're all cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, him saying your mom's name Sarah, and then, Sarah. I think that was a neat thing. I think that honestly, I think it is a little bit of a mix of both. I think he is kind of into her, but also, that was almost put it over the top. Like, oh, your name's Sarah. Oh, this is this is destined. And I like that. I'm not someone who ever used the word shipping, but I am shipping Bucky and Sarah. That would kill Sam, which I think would be funny.
You'll never see me use the word shipping on this show.
Hey man, someone had to do it. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid, damn it, to say the word shipping. And I rarely ship anything, but I was shipping that. I love that dynamic. I love that scene. Those scenes they were together. But I think we've gotten to everything. I mean, we know that, this episode kind of ends with that meeting going haywire, lights going red. Clearly, 2 of the security people in there are flag smasher people. So all hell's about to break loose. We'll see how that shakes out. But, we know Sam opens that briefcase and he's very excited and takes a deep breath of what he saw. If he saw something that wasn't red, white, and blue, that was a hell of a letdown. I'll say it better be some Captain America.
That's why I said it's got to be that's why I said 100%. Are we 100? They kind of have to do the Captain America thing.
The only reason why I was pausing was because, and maybe it's dumb of me, but I'm thinking about those trailers where we see Sam fighting with the Shield. Some of those scenes didn't look like they were.
I thought it was the John Walker.
You thought they were all John Walker? I thought there might have been some that were Carly, but it could have just been the cuts. You can cut something that look like anything. But, also you could shoot stuff only for a trailer. So I mean,
I was gonna say some of that might not even be in the show.
Yeah. So I don't want to trip. But that was the only. That's to me. Honestly, that's the only thing that's keeping me from saying it's 100%.
This show is not nearly like WandaVision in that going into the WandaVision finale, it felt like, all right, game on. We have so many things we got to get checked off, so many theories and this and that. And a lot of it was a letdown. Being honest, some of it was good, but some of it was a letdown.
It was a really well executed letdown. The show, the episode was great, but it was it was things you were expecting that we didn't get.
Right.
Yep.
And so this feels different. Do we have anything that we're expecting and that we're hoping for in this finale?
Not really to me. I mean, to me, I
No,
feel
we're
like
gonna get the power broker at this point. All signs pointing to Sharon Carter. Kind of hoping it isn't, so I'm surprised. But right now, all signs pointing to Sharon Carter.
yeah.
Or
I
that
guess
she
for me, it's just
all.
like yeah. Go ahead, Shan.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any expectations. I mean, I expect a big showdown.
Right.
I hope U.S. Agent shows up again. I'm thinking, unfortunately, there's a chance they may just save him for something else. But
Right. I don't think
but
so,
with
because I
them,
think he has unfinished business.
but with them teasing him at the end, I think he has to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you tease him at the
Yeah,
end?
why would you show him making
Why would
a
you tease
shield?
him at the end of this episode and then just leave him for
I think,
whatever
yeah,
future
I think
project?
he's gonna have a whole U.S. agent costume.
He's going to be U.S. Agent.
I think so.
100. That's 100% gonna happen. I agree with that.
I think it'll be in this episode.
Oof.
I agree.
I don't.
That's my.
I don't know. I think it could go either way. I think I lean no. I think I lean toward they're gonna hold him.
But he's got it. He wants Carly Morgan.
I know.
He has a shield.
Yeah.
That's
all.
and that's the part, as I said earlier, that leads me to well, maybe he will.
Because why would
He
you
wants
show him
Carly.
making the shield and then
Making the shield, and then he's in what?
Right.
Some street clothes or
In
some
the
old
penultimate-
cap getup?
like that's a post credit scene you show in the finale post credit. Like, oh, we
Right.
didn't see him ever again, and then, but he's making the shield. You'll see him in the Thunderbolts or whatever.
Right.
Like, this suggests he's got at least one final act as U.S. agent.
Right.
Maybe he makes it. Yeah, I remember. We talked about it. Shamari wasn't sure you were going to make it. He was going to make it out of the series.
I wasn't.
He might not. Like, he might be
still might
U.S.
not.
agent for an episode,
Yeah.
and he might not make it out of the series.
Yeah.
Or he might be U.S. agent, or he may not be U.S. agent, and he's U.S. agent in the future. But
I think
now
I
it's
think
a little more.
yeah, I think the exchange with Val, I think makes it more likely he will survive. I think that
yeah.
I think it's still a chance he might not, but considering they have big plans, it seems like for Val that he's not going to be. You're not gonna have that exchange, and this asset that Val's recovered is just dead in the next episode. That would surprise me. The only thing would be if somehow Val gets him to Carly, and then maybe then I can see it. But if this is something that like you're building something where you see a future with Val and him being a part of it, I don't see you're not gonna kill him in this episode. That's not gonna happen. But I think that it's possible. But I thought it was a little less likely with that. I do think that he's gonna become U.S. agent, whether it's a one episode thing or he's U.S. agent in a movie in the future or another Disney Plus show. I don't know.
Do we get
He will
anything
definitely
from
be U.S. agent?
Do we get anything from Eli Bradley? He's been very muted.
Yeah.
He's been in like two scenes.
I don't think so.
In two
I don't
episodes.
think so.
This-
Yeah, I think
he
that,
just Easter egg.
Yeah, I think for now, I think it's a slow build with him. I think that we'll
Yeah, I
see
think
more. There will be future movies and future projects that will probably have more to do with Sam, and I'm sure Sam will be in touch with the Bradley family after all that he's been through. So I think that I still think they have plans for Patriot, who he will become Patriot, but I just don't. I think it's a much slower build than maybe we expected. I think people may have thought by the end of the season he'd be Patriot. That's not going to happen, obviously.
He's not gonna be Patriot. By
I
the
don't say
end,
obviously, but I think it's unlikely.
I think we'll get a tease.
Okay.
We'll get a tease. I think we'll see them again. And something, I don't know, I don't think it's gonna be anything dramatic like a blood transfusion, like him taking a serum or anything. I don't think it's gonna be anything like that. But even a nod, maybe he's just stronger than a normal kid or something, like, because of his grandfather. Like, I don't know. But I think there will be some sort of nod to Eli Bradley will return, that kind of thing.
I don't think we're gonna get anything. I think it's probably more likely that they're gonna leave it alone, but they'll revisit it later. I mean, I feel like they have to kind of put a bow on this whole Isaiah Bradley storyline. It's very tragic. I mean, they can leave it as it is, but I think doing something with it, with his grandson, I think that would be a good thing to do in the future.
I agree with that as well. Let's get to scores this week. So I'll let Sham go first here. Episode 5, Truth. What are you giving a score out of 10 for this one?
This episode, I would give it. Let's see. I think I give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was a solid episode. I think the last episode definitely had a lot more tension. With this one, it definitely seems like it was a character building episode for me. There was action in the beginning, but the rest of it was really a lot of just story like setting the stage for the final episode, which the penultimate for WandaVision was a lot of that too. But this is definitely a lot of setting the stage for the final episode, which is fine. Wasn't a bad episode, but that's a lot of what it was. It has really great scenes in it, but the rest of this episode was a lot of just setting the stage. So I'm looking forward to hopefully a very action-packed, very a very full finale with a lot of stuff going on. So hopefully we get that the next one.
Well, you can though.
I'll go 8 out of 10. I thought this was a very good episode. We had the incredible fight scene in the beginning with John Walker, Sam and Bucky, and just a lot of great character development, like Shamari mentioned. I, for one, have become a huge fan of Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson. Not that I wasn't a fan of him before, but look, he was kind of a side character, in the Avengers movies and in the Captain America movies. But now he's like,
he feels like he feels like a true leading man right now.
Yeah, true leading man, a true prime time Avenger right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Like an A-list kind of character. That's what they're building. That's what they're building him as, in wrestling terms. And that is like, it's been great. So yeah, I mean, I'm super impressed by the job Anthony Mackie's done. And so you just got to give him his props.
Yeah, I definitely like the wrestling analogy there. It feels like this is definitely that main event push that you see for an up and coming wrestler. That's how it feels with Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson. I agree, he's just been fantastic all season. I would give this an 8.5. I think this was also another great episode. I guess that means that for out of my score, I think that would be tied for the best episode with last week. I thought this episode was stellar, man. Again, I thought some of those scenes, the opening fight scene before we even get the title screen was excellent. I thought John Walker and some of the nuances that we saw to his reaction to what happened last week all hit the right notes. Obviously, the Isaiah Bradley scene was very emotional. I thought even the slower moments in Louisiana, it wasn't, super action-packed and it wasn't a lot, but, like, considering there was so much emotion, like, the first 25, 30 minutes of this episode, like, I'm kind of glad that we maybe got some kind of decompress and kind of, I think in many ways, Sam and Bucky kind of got to, like, talk out kind of what they've been going through over the course of this journey. And I thought those scenes were important. And I think them kind of getting that time down was important to kind of let the show breathe a little bit. Flag Smashers continue to be a little bit tough. It's just not going to happen for them this season for me. It's not going to happen for Carly in terms of that being
I gotta agree, yeah.
For that being a villain that's going to be memorable and someone that I really appreciate, it's just not going to happen. Sucks, but it is what it is. Sharon Carter, Marvel. Some people will say it's Marvel. Villains haven't necessarily been their strong suit for sure. We'll see what's going to happen with Sharon Carter. I'm not as excited about her being the power broker. I'm hoping that there's some other twists behind it, but right now it feels like they're playing it pretty straight. Like, if she's not the power broker at this point, I would be surprised. Why she's the power broker, how that happens, that will, I guess, determine whether or not it's successful. Right now, I'm kind of lukewarm on the idea. But overall, though, really solid episode. I enjoyed it a lot. So I'll go 8.5 on this one.
I saw someone throw out that what if Valentina is working for Zola? I was like, that would be like just like
that's some
what?
real mustache twirly stuff right there.
Yeah, I'm like, how are you getting from you're introducing a character that's working for Zola? So now Zola's like
working for Zola.
Yeah, man.
So now Zola is like some kind of MODOK.
Yeah, right. That's the first thing I thought of too. Like, he just is a complete puppet master.
Nah.
From behind a computer screen.
There's no way. I'm kind of tired of the Zola.
Shamari has said he is tired of Zola. I think on every episode recap.
Yeah, probably. I'm done with Zola. Everyone keeps talking about Zola. Every time I watch a video about Falcon and Winter Soldier, people talking about Zola. Is it Armin Zola? I want to see Armin Zola. Where did all these Zola fans come from?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't even hate Armin Zola necessarily, and when they used him, but I don't want him to be the main villain now.
Yeah, I think it's only because his character was left kind of unscathed.
Yeah, we don't know where he is or what his deal is.
Yeah,
I mean, wasn't he like some just uploaded in the cloud or whatever?
Yeah, he was unplugged.
Right, which means that he could be anywhere.
I mean, I suppose, but like, you know, I don't know.
The
Maybe I'm just
theory-
not the biggest fan of, you know, some like a
Right.
1940s, you know,
Nazi German science.
Nazi virus
Right.
that's Nazi like computer virus that's just like
He uploaded his consciousness.
uploaded into the cloud, and now
Right.
he's like, I don't know. I'm just not
So,
the biggest fan of that
yeah.
storyline.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it's a story that, I mean, you know, you'd have to really work with, you know, to make it work. But
Yeah.
the idea that that there was a blip and he wasn't blipped, you know, in those 5
yeah.
years,
Yeah.
could he have turned himself into the quote unquote
Yeah,
power?
could he have amassed riches and amassed people? Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but I don't know.
Eh.
That would be quite the thing to introduce him this late, but I guess anything is possible. But that'll do it for this edition of our Falcon and Winter Soldier episode discussion and review. Make sure, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, The Generation Media. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you give us a like and give us a comment on what you think about episode 5 and what you're looking forward to most in episode 6. Give us a comment. We love to respond to our viewers. So thank you guys so much for checking this out. For Kendall, for Shamari, I'm EJ. Take it easy, guys. Peace.